Something happened recently that no parent should ever face. My daughter was kidnapped by bikers hired by our HOA. All because of some string lights they said broke their community code. But the only thing that got taken down was their whole operation. I moved to Maple Grove for two things: privacy and quiet. Not the calm kind. The kind that feels like a locked safe. No chit-chat. No nosy neighbors. Just peace. For 6 weeks, I had it. I read books, grilled steaks, and ignored 3 HOA newsletters without a chuckle. Retirement seemed like it might work out. Then Lily came home. My daughter, 21, fresh from college, was sharp as a knife and spoke her mind without hesitation. She arrived with one duffel bag, a beat-up coffee maker, and zero patience for fake suburban rules. She was my pride, my challenge, and my only family. And she could stir up a neighborhood just by existing. Her first offense was jogging in a tank top. 3 days later, a letter slid under our doormat, written like a polite threat. Dear Mr. Bennett, we've received concerns about conduct unbecoming of Maple Grove residents. Your daughter's exercise attire has caused discomfort. Discomfort? She wore Adidas, not a costume. I'd seen real scandals in my work. This wasn't one. I laughed. Lily didn't. I'm not changing because Susan and her book club can't mind their own business, she snapped. Good, I said. If we apologize for living, Susan wins. Susan? She asked. You'll meet her. A week later, we got a fine for uneven hedges. Then a warning for our trash can being visible for 10 minutes on pickup day. It was like a game of HOA tag, each rule sillier than the last. Then Susan showed up, clipboard, polo shirt, visor, and a smile like a shark. Mr. Bennett, she said, voice sharp as glass, just touching base on some concerns. I cracked the door. Let me guess. Our lawn is hurting feelings. She gave a fake laugh. No, we've had reports of a motorcycle noise at night. We don't own a motorcycle. Maybe a guest? Then your spies need better ears. Susan didn't flinch. We like to stay proactive. Maple Grove has standards. Looks great in the ads, I said. She handed me a violation slip and glanced at Lily's old Civic, with its cracked taillight and free speech sticker. Her smile faded. We've also heard about raised voices, loud music. I leaned in. If anyone's too loud, it's your smug tone, Susan. Her eyes narrowed. We'll follow up, she said, walking away. That night, at 10:04 p.m., a Harley crept down our street. No lights, no plates, just a low growl. It stopped outside our house for 52 seconds, then left. Lily stood by the window. That's the 3rd time this week. I nodded, rewinding our security footage. Not a coincidence. The next morning, our front gate was open, unlatched. On the steps sat a black leather glove, right hand, middle finger cut off. Lily picked it up with a napkin. Who leaves this? Someone who doesn't need words, I said. I'd seen that kind of warning before, once in Iraq, once in Mexico. It wasn't to scare you. It was to test you. I went to my gun safe, held my .45, feeling its weight. I didn't load it, just needed to remember who I was. Then our neighbor Tom, a guy in cargo shorts who called everything not up to code, knocked. Seen that black SUV cruising by your place? Tinted windows, Oregon plates. I frowned. When, twice this week, parked by the Wilsons, like it's scoping the place. He grinned. I wanted to confront them, but my wife says no vigilante stuff till after the HOA picnic. I didn't laugh. Keep your cameras on, I said. Something's off. He nodded, whistling as he left. I didn't smile, he was right. That night, Lily found her car's back tires slashed. Clean, precise, no accident. I checked the cameras. At 3:11 a.m., a figure slipped through our side gate, leather jacket, boots, cap low. He paused, smiled at the camera. I zoomed in. His jacket patch was half hidden, but I knew it. I'd taken down 2 men with that same patch years ago. This wasn't just HOA nonsense anymore. It was a planned attack. Susan Miller didn't run Maple Grove like a neighborhood. She ran it like a prison with perfect lawns. As HOA president, she treated the bylaws like a holy book, quoting rules like threats. She didn't like me because I didn't play along. No waving at neighbors, no block parties, just diagonal lawn lines because I liked them. When Lily moved in, Susan declared war. Her first move was a fine on Lily's windshield. No envelope, just flapping in the breeze. Violation, loitering with non-residents. The crime? Lily sat in our driveway, laughing with a friend, wearing sneakers. The find included a blurry photo of her, taken from afar. Lily read it, stunned. Loitering? In our driveway. It's not serious, I said. It's personal. I went to the next HOA meeting, held in a clubhouse that smelled like bleach and fake smiles. Susan stood at the front, grinning like a dictator in pastels. Thrilled to see new faces, she said, eyeing me. Translation, you don't belong. She ran the meeting like a bored judge, pushing a new decorum clause to let her control who could exist. I asked why Lily was fine for sitting at home. Susan's smile tightened. We'll circle back. We didn't. After the meeting, she cornered me. Your tone doesn't reflect Maple Grove values. What values? Nosiness and bad fonts. I shot back. She smirked. The wrong crowd changes things. You calling Lily the wrong crowd? Her jaw twitched, a liar's tell. Her independence upsets people, she said, walking off. That night, Lily came home from the gym, quiet. She handed me an envelope with a grainy photo of her jogging, red ink scrawled across it. Eyes are always on you. I didn't yell. I just stared at my gun's safe, thinking. Cops? Lily asked. Not yet, I said. Later, I passed her room. She sat on the floor, hoodie up, phone off, door locked. First time since she moved home. The next day, Tom leaned over the fence. That SUV circled your street, parked by Susan's. You watch her place now? I watch everyone. HOA's cameras are a joke. His weed whacker sputtered. Wife banned gas once, he grumbled. Need backup? I know a guy selling bear mace. I stared. He throws in pepper spray, he added, then vanished. 2 days later, Susan walked into my yard, holding an envelope like a weapon. This is a formal notice. Your household is under behavioral review for repeated violations. Based on what? Some neighbors feel unsafe, she said, glancing at Lily's window. You don't get to judge with a look, I snapped. You're not scared, you're petty. Her smile thinned, and she left. That night, I dug into the HOA's records and found a bombshell. Susan's trust fund linked to North Point Acquisitions, a real estate firm that didn't buy homes. It forced them out through fear and sabotage. I'd helped shut them down in El Paso years ago, after finding blackmail tapes and worse. Susan wasn't just a busybody. She was part of a scheme to take our home. The glove on our porch was no prank. Leather, right hand, middle finger sliced off, a promise. I rewatched the footage. At 3:11 a.m., 3 bikes stopped. One rider smiled at the camera. Lily skipped her run, sitting with uneaten cereal, staring out the window. Doors locked. I asked. Yeah, she mumbled. Moved my dresser by the window, just in case. Her calm scared me more than tears. That afternoon, my motion sensor pinged. The backyard camera showed a biker. Hoodie, no helmet, staring at Lily's window for 7 minutes, hands in pockets. I didn't show Lily. I sent stills to Jake, an old intel contact. He called back fast. That's Viper. Freelance enforcer, no gang ties, works intimidation jobs. Armed. Dangerous. I fortified the house. Motion lights, window strips, a stronger lock on Lily's door. My reflection in the glass showed a face I hadn't seen since my last mission, one I'd tried to leave behind. At 2:41 a.m., I heard a clatter on the roof. Outside, I found a boot print in a candy wrapper, Lily's brand, one she hadn't bought in weeks. They'd been watching longer than we knew. Tom suggested talking cameras that insult intruders. I can make one sound like Clint Eastwood. Tempting, I said. I showed him the biker's photo. His grin faded. I'll keep my eyes open, he said. That night, 3 bikes parked across the street, engines humming, watching for an hour before leaving. Lily whispered, What do they want? Not you, I said. Me. The next morning, I found boot prints by Lily's window and bent grass near the trellis. Someone had climbed halfway up. I walked the block and saw a biker on an empty house's porch, beer in hand. He smiled, tapped his temple, knowing I was looking. I rewired the sensors, added a garage camera, and waited. The biker's jacket had a patch I'd seen before, on a man who begged me not to turn him in, saying his family would die. I didn't listen. He was dead 6 days later. This wasn't just intimidation, it was revenge. I turned the garage into a trap. I cut the opener's power, wired a floodlight to a tripwire by the paint shelf, and set zip ties on the counter. I moved the tool chest to block the back door, locked it with an old code. I grabbed a socket wrench that once broke a smuggler's ribs. I left the garage door cracked, porch light off, inviting trouble. At 2:09 a.m., the sensor chirped. 3 shadows slipped into the garage, murmuring about tool racks. The third crossed the tripwire. The floodlight blazed. They froze, blinded. I lunged, slamming the wrench into the biggest one's chest. He crashed into paint cans. The second charged. I ducked, hit his knee. He collapsed, screaming. The third pulled a knife. I twisted his wrist, crack, then hit his hand. The knife fell. One more swing to his head, and he dropped. I zip-tied them, bleeding on my floor, and photographed them. Jake identified them. One tied to arson and extortion, another a former biker linked to a kidnapping, the third with a wolf-in scope tattoo I'd seen in Mexico. Lily appeared, eyes wide, seeing them cuffed. "Is this who you were before?" she whispered. I didn't answer. Yes would have been too honest. I sat on the porch as dawn broke, feeling trapped by my own plan. Jake texted. One biker worked for Victor Kane, a man I'd thought was dead. I'd signed his death certificate. If Victor was alive, this was personal. I mapped the HOA's complaints. 3 clusters of fines led to voluntary home sales, all bought by a trust tied to North Point Acquisitions. Susan wasn't just an HOA tyrant. She was their front. I'd shut down North Point in El Paso after finding blackmail and a body. Victor Kane ran their muscle then, supposedly died in custody. Now he was back. Tom flagged me down, machete in hand. "Saw a drone over your place last night. Commercial rig, quiet, hovered by your backyard." He handed me a USB. The footage showed it zooming on Lily's window as she changed, unaware. I sent it to Chris, a cyber contact. He traced the signal to a house 5 doors down, bought under a fake name, James Holt. The photo showed Lucas Kane, Victor's brother. It clicked. Susan ran the HOA, Victor the muscle, Lucas the surveillance. They were forcing homeowners out, and we were their last target. Lily saw the drone stills and froze. "They recorded me? That's why we fight," I said. "If we leave, they win." "You'll do something you can't undo," she said, scared of me. "You missed the war." Her words cut deep. She left for work, saying, "You're not protecting me. You're reviving yourself." I printed everything. Bank trails, drone logs, Lucas's photo, Susan's finances, and took it to Susan's house. She was sipping wine on her patio. I dropped the folder. Page 4. She flipped through, her wine glass shaking. "Where'd you get this?" "Doesn't matter." She knew I'd seen her scheme. For 48 hours, no bikers, no drones, no fines. But Lily barely spoke, avoiding me. On the 3rd morning, she said, "You're scaring me. This isn't protection, it's obsession." "They came to our home," I said. "You brought the war here," she replied. "I locked my door because I don't know what you'll do." I said, "You're not a mission. You're why I didn't give up in '08. "Maybe you should have left that part of you there," she said, breaking me. She packed a bag and left for Emma's, texting, "Don't call. I need space." An hour later, my camera pinged. A man left an envelope. Inside was a photo of Lily at a gas station, time-stamped 47 minutes ago, with a biker's reflection in a car's chrome. I traced her phone. Last ping at Emma's, earlier at a strip mall. Traffic cams showed her walking, the biker trailing. I drove to Emma's. The door was open, mail scattered. Emma was pale. Lily left 40 minutes ago for air. Another envelope in the mailbox held a note in red ink. "You said you'd protect her. She shouldn't pay for your failures." I didn't panic. I turned my living room into a command center. Glock, burner phone, old maps, a rifle from Bolivia. I called old contacts, 2 marshals, a DEA informant, and a fixer. By morning, I learned Victor Kane faked his death, now running this scheme with Lucas on logistics and Susan as the face. I gave Susan one chance, dropping evidence at her wine mixer. Her hand shook as she saw photos of Lily, bank trails, and a warehouse off Highway 92. She fled to the HOA office, staying past dark. At midnight, I scouted Lucas's rental. The back door was cracked, too clean inside. Maps marked our house, Emma's, Tom's, and another. A photo of me sat by a vial of clear liquid and a note. "If the envelope fails, this won't." This wasn't eviction, it was murder. I hid in the pantry as Victor and a biker entered. "Susan's done," the biker said. "Lucas has the girl at the warehouse off 92. She's on ice." Victor tapped the vial. "If this doesn't work, we finish it." I struck fast, disarming the biker, slamming Victor into the fridge. Where is she? He smiled through blood. You're late. I hit him again. Warehouse off 92, he gasped. Just Lucas. I pistol whipped him, torched the maps, and tipped the police anonymously. Armed activity at 144, Oak Lane, possible abduction. The warehouse was rusted, quiet. I scaled the back fence, cracked a side door's padlock, and crept inside. I heard Lily's muffled voice, still fighting. The first door was empty, a trick. The second was locked. I kicked it in. Lucas held a syringe, same liquid as the vial. Lily was zip-tied to a chair, bruised. She screamed, warning me. Lucas lunged, but Lily kicked her chair, knocking the syringe free. It shattered. I tackled Lucas, hitting his shoulder, throat, and slamming him into a crate. I zip-tied him to a beam, tighter than he'd tied her. I freed Lily. She grabbed my hand, trembling but not crying. You okay? She nodded, holding tight. Sirens grew close. I played Lucas a recording of his own voice. We'll drop her clean. You can't, he begged. I already did, I said. Marshals, cops, maybe the news. The police cuffed Lucas without questions. In the car, Lily said, You didn't kill him. You wanted to, she added. I didn't reply, that was enough. We got home at dawn. 2 weeks later, Susan vanished. Her house sold overnight. Victor was in a federal hospital, but men like him don't die, they fade. Lily keeps her blinds cracked now. I keep the lights on. We talk less, but mean more. Maple Grove is quiet again, but we don't trust it. We don't call the cops. We answer the door ready. Next time, we're already holding the fight.